are having a good week this week. We don't have a really packed agenda, so I thought maybe today would be one of those good days where we could all have a little sharing moment. And the thing that I thought that we could share today would be something fun that you have done since the last time we saw each other. Which wouldn't have been a month ago. It would have been the ribbon cutting. So that was something fun we did. And I remembered today that I still need to send everyone pictures because we did capture some good pictures on my phone, and I have not sent those to you. So I will try to get that done soon. I'll start since it was my idea, and I'll give you a little bit more time to think about what you want to share. But I'm going to share two quick things. On Sunday, I went with a friend to Greensboro and walked the Greensboro downtown Greenway. It's 4 miles and it's almost complete. They've still got just a little section to pave, but if you ever have some free time, to drive over to Greensboro, it is a fabulous path to walk. It is really wonderful. As they built it out, they incorporated art all along the way. They use an app called AutoCast. So if you want to know history about the neighborhoods that you're walking through or the art that they have along the sides, it is fabulous. So as Ned said, go out and inspect. Observe, look at other places and what they're doing, but that was a lot of fun. The other thing, which I'll share a little bit more in detail later, is I attended the Bike Walk North Carolina Summit the last 2 days. So that was a really good opportunity to be with other bicycle and pedestrian advocates. So I always enjoy going to that summit. I missed the last 2 years, but was very happy to be able to return again this year and attend. So those are my fun spots for since the last time I saw you all. Who'd like to go next? Don't be shy. Okay.
Was it me or Ryan?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was Ryan? Okay. I think he's
I
on
can go.
Oh, there you go.
It's nothing major, but I was able. As we know, cyclists do have some problems with e-bikers. When I'm on a bicycle path and passing a cyclist, I'm doing like 8 miles an hour. I'm going real slow, and I like to say, "Hey, you're still winning" when I'm passing them. And this guy got mad, and we decided to like argue for a little bit. And we talked it out, and I ended up talking him into looking at e-cargo bikes, and he might be buying one. So that's all I really have to share with the group. Is I might have shared or gotten somebody who's very against e-bikes into maybe purchasing one, and just one little argument. Not the best way to advertise it, but.
John?
I didn't get to attend the ribbon opening, but on my bike ride yesterday, I did ride the new section. So I thought that was really nice.
Excellent. And we missed you at the ribbon cutting.
I would have rather been there.
I know you would.
I can go. I went to the library for the TPO thing. That was really fun. And got to see Ben and Carol. Not sure who else was there. And also right after the ribbon cutting, I went to Alexandria, Virginia. My daughter lives in that area, and did some walking around in a lot of their urban parks, because there's that between there and DC, there's just so many great places to go.
Yeah.
And they have some and I was talking to Ben a little bit about this, some treacherous bike path areas that are on the other side of the car, where I think it should be closer to the safety. But some of them are on the side of like parking, and then there's bike paths. It's like, people don't see you that well, but
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun.
Hunter, did you hear that?
I did. I'm glad that that some folks had a great time at our TPO meeting. Not always the funnest content, so we're glad to hear.
And Hunter, if you want to share real quick while you're up.
Sure. One fun thing that we did before it got rained out and the downpour of the century occurred, we tabled at the International Village. It was kind of one last push to promote the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. There was great food, good conversations. So it was a great time. International Village.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's great. I saw you guys at that too. I forgot.
Yep.
Maddie, you came up back on screen. Do you want to share?
Yeah, my exciting thing is that all of our work towards the time points and new schedules for WISTA have been published on Sunday. So had a good time riding the buses the last 2 or 3 days and enjoying the on-time performance improvements.
Excellent. Amy?
I went with my family for the first time on an RV camping trip. We bought an RV, meaning a travel trailer, not a big motor coach and not a pop-up trailer, in between size, because we have a little one now. But we've been planning to get one for several years. We finally got one, got it ready, went to Warrior Creek campground, and I didn't do any biking there because I just wanted to see if I could survive the trip. But it went great. And we learned a lot, and now I'm really excited to take the thing all over and explore parks and trails and blueways and all that stuff. So it's kind of just the starting point for me.
Excellent. Donna?
I spent a lot of time with my family. Unfortunately, I had a loss of my family. So that's really been my focus for the last month or so. And I did have a chance, though, to have conversations that were really good with my city council person, Regina Hall, and Mayor Pro Temp Dee Dee Adams regarding the work that we're doing, the work that we do. And they had some wonderful suggestions that I look forward to really sharing during our share out in terms of how our committee can really be impactful as the city is evolving with new projects and entertainment centers that are being created in our community.
I'm sorry for your loss, Donna, but I look forward to hearing what you're going to share later.
Thanks.
Michael?
I just past weekend I went to the Nantahala and kayaked. Did a kind of a ducky one day and did a full-on kayak the next day, which is pretty awesome. Successful both days without any tip overs, and then went and rode the Solly Trail. So camped out on the river and got rained on a little bit, but it was a super fun weekend. It was really good to get away and take a break for a little bit.
Excellent. Ben, did you share?
No, I didn't. We were looking at some of the projects other MPOs across the country were doing, and I thought that was fun to see what everybody's doing and maybe take some of those ideas and bring them back here.
Oh, that's exciting. Ned?
Oh man, well, my highlight was on Sunday. I was walking at Renolda Village and I saw Ben with a lady on a little walk. So that was exciting. Seeing our fearless leader, doing some research and relationship management at the same time. It was pretty amazing.
It was good to see you, Ned.
Way to embarrass someone. And Greg, glad you came. We are sharing something fun we've done in the last month if you want to join us.
Oh, well, thank you. I can't seem to get my camera working. I'm not sure why, but thing I did fun last month or so. Probably go out and get ice cream
That is fun. I always enjoy that.
at Killwinds or whatever it's called. So
Oh, they have good ice cream.
yes, they do.
Apple
So
pie ice cream is the best one.
that's that was probably my highlight here the last month or so. Oh, I went to Charleston. I'll take that back. I went to Charleston a week and a half ago. That was a lot of fun. I'll recant my previous statement, but Charleston, we spent a long weekend down there and had a blast down there. So I'd highly recommend it.
It is a beautiful place to go. I'll have to say. All right. Well, thank you all for taking a few minutes to share some of the fun things you've done over the past month. And a lot of it included outdoor activities, which is great. I always like hearing that. Okay, so the minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? And does anyone have any edits? Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Thank you, Ned.
I'll second. This is Lisa.
Greg, where are you? You are really running behind today.
I'll make a third on that. How about that? I'll
Okay.
third it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, all those in favor or approve?
I'll say aye.
And those opposed? Sounds like it's unanimous. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the letter that I sent to everyone. I don't know if you've had a chance to review it. I can pull it up. But, and I don't know how many of you have had a chance to go in and really dig into the P 8.0 project list. But it is, I don't know, I got really excited when I was seeing it because what I saw was a lot of support for bike and ped. There's a lot more green lines on that map than purple lines, which I thought was pretty exciting. There is there's a rail project. There's lots of transit on there. So it really shows or demonstrates that the Department of Transportation is listening to the public comments. They're seeing the turnout at the meetings. They're hearing us, they're listening to us, and they continue to grow in support of multimodal transportation. To me, it was very exciting. I even noticed that sidewalks are no longer being written up at 5 feet, they're being written up at 6 feet, which was very exciting to me. The highway projects, many of them or a lot of them include sidewalks and or bike lanes, I should say. Some include bike lanes. Most all of them you'll find include sidewalks. Some of them are even providing access to greenways, which all of that to me is just absolutely fabulous. So I talked to the planning committee when we met a couple of weeks ago and said, do you think that we should write a letter to the MPO and talk to them or to tell them that we acknowledge and appreciate what they are doing for multimodal transportation in the region, and ask for adoption by the Transportation Advisory Committee. So that's what the letter is about, and that's why we did it. So we did talk about it, and we agreed that it would be nice to do. And that's why it was written and presented to each of you. I know that Hunter has put something up here.
Yeah, Carol, the only thing that I added in the chat were just the P8 list itself that you had referenced, and in map form, both static kind of printable maps as well as our interactive comment map, for anybody who wanted to look at the projects in more detail. Just kind of a reminder of what you were talking about and giving people one last chance to submit their comments. And thank you for your feedback on that. It's appreciated.
Oh, you're very welcome. Actually, I'm going to pull it up in just a few minutes. So I know that's not on the agenda, but I am going to do that. So anyway, does anyone need me to pull the letter up so that we can review it all together, or did you all have a chance to review it?
Hey, Carol.
Yes.
I read it, and one thing, I don't know, maybe it was intentional, but one thing we might add is that doing the sidewalks and the bike and everything else there, it makes Winston-Salem a more attractive and livable city. You didn't have anything in there like that.
Nope, but that's a good comment. I was focused more on the safety.
Yeah, I know, and I thought that might have been intentional. I mean, that's what they really look at, but it does, you know, make the city more attractive to me.
Okay. I think that's a good comment to add, so thank you. Let me go ahead and pull it up. There's share. Okay. I get used to different types of video calls. That's tack letter. Okay, everybody see it?
Yep, it's showing up.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments about adjustments or changes or additions to make to it? I'll figure out how to incorporate that in. We actually need to approve the letter today, so we can approve it with an edit, John, and I'll make that edit then and get that submitted. And the reason I say we have to do it today is because the comment period ends on September 15th, and it's being presented to TAC on the 18th.
I make a motion to approve the letter.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
John, okay. Lisa, can you say approve the letter with the edit?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the letter with the edits.
Okay, thank you. And John seconded. All in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, lots of times the Department of Transportation is hearing complaints, but they don't hear very many notes of appreciation or accolades. So I think that this can help to go a long way. It also, again, is asking for the adoption from the Transportation Advisory Committee. So I think that that will help quite a bit as well. All right, moving into information items. There are two deadlines coming up. Both of them are September 15th, as stated in the agenda. One is comments for the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. And while I'm talking about that, I think I've got it over here. So let me pull it up real quick. I think I can pull it up. Oh, I know why that is showing. Okay, hang on. There we go. Okay. All right, do you see 2 green squares?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, so on the MTP, this one was a little challenging for me. But the way I think, and Hunter can jump in as well and help with this, is to go to the story map if you haven't done this already. So learn more and give feedback. So when you go into the storyboard, let it come up. The storyboard can walk you through with an overview, current conditions. I probably skipped those 2, went straight to multimodal recommendations to see what was there. You can go in there and explore it. You can see bicycle routes. You can see, well, let me just open it real quick. All right. Map is coming up. And it pops right to our TPO. And then you can go through each one of the different boxes on the right. So you've got the roadway and intersection recommendations. You've got bicycle recommendations. You've got pedestrian recommendations. I'm just going to click on bicycle real quick and show you what happens. So it begins to populate with all of the bicycle recommendations for the TPO. I find it a little difficult to view this myself personally, but you can enlarge it to see the routes a little bit better. To me, it is still a little challenging to get to those routes because the bigger you blow it up, the harder it is to try to discern what that route is. And the same goes with the pedestrian and the transit recommendations. One of the things I noticed was that there are no keys. So if you understand the maps, you can tell that the darker brown, I think, is existing. The lighter brown is proposed. So that gives you a little bit better idea of what you're looking at. Was I correct there, Hunter?
I'll need to verify that. I don't believe that the brown is existing. I think the brown, the darker brown, refers to more of your shared use paths and greenways, whereas your dashed lines, your lighter dashed lines would be things that are more like bicycle lanes.
In the yeah, I'm sorry, I was kind of getting things confused. Go ahead.
All good. And if you wanted to see the existing bicycle and pedestrian, the previous page that you had mentioned of current conditions will summarize that. One thing that we did, we gave your feedback back to the consultant on was to include a legend. I'm not sure when those changes will come forward, but they are aware of that request. One thing that I'll share here is the source for these bicycle and pedestrian recommendations. There are a few. So the first is the bicycle master plan that was adopted by the city of Winston-Salem and our MPO, as well as Walkable Winston-Salem drives the pedestrian recommendations that you'll see on the map when you click pedestrian recommendations. Other improvements that might be outside of the city of Winston-Salem, they may come from previous comprehensive transportation plans or other locally adopted pedestrian and bike oriented plans from our smaller municipalities. So really the MTP for our bicycle and pedestrian projects, I would encourage you to think of almost as a clearinghouse for all previous bicycle and pedestrian recommendations that have been made by municipalities through previous plans. And so the MTP essentially funnels those recommendations in and repurposes them and displays them that way. Hopefully we'll have some good news for you soon on the introduction of legends for the map. The other place that we would of course recommend that you look are the original plans themselves, like the bicycle master plan and so on.
Down at the bottom, they also have rail and aviation. And then you
Hey,
can...
y'all, I just need to stop the meeting for a second. I just witnessed someone learn to ride a bike for the first time.
Oh,
It was amazing.
that's a celebration
So,
in and of itself.
oh, so great. All right, back to the meeting.
Thank you, Ned. You can see the policy recommendations at the bottom, so what they use in consideration. I'm just giving you some highlights here. We're going to go back to that page with the storyboards. I hope. Yeah, I think it did this to me before. So we're going to go back here and come back in again. After you have a chance to look at the storyboards, the input to provide it does not take very long. It is a list of 7 questions. There is space to provide comments. Most of it is on a scale or yes or no, and how you would like to see things in the future. So do take some time between now and the 15th, if you haven't completed this already, to complete this if you would. It's at the bottom of the storyboard page. Okay. I am going to move from this to the P 8.0. So this is the link, the map, interactive map that Hunter provided the link in the chat for you. And this actually, I mean, to me, it always looks overwhelming when I first come into it, but this was much easier for me than the 7.0. One, because it's not the first time I've done it, but secondly, it's because these are all new projects. So these are all projects that are in the 2028 to 2037 timeframe that the DOT is looking at, and they're all new projects. So this is your opportunity to make comments on these different projects, and I do highly recommend that we take time to try to make comments here. The comments, the usage is a little tricky, but once you figure out how to use it, it can go pretty fast. You don't have to make comments on all of these projects, but the more comments that you make on the different projects, the better. Because as we've learned, they do listen, which I think is fabulous. So I'm going to take one as an example and kind of walk you through it. Let's just take, there's no comments on this purple line up here, which if you go to the key, see if I can get there, the key, the highway top box on the left, highway projects are purple, bicycle pedestrian projects are green, and then public comments are down here. And of course, aviation, intersections, rail, you can see the key on the left-hand side. So I'm going to pick a purple one just to see what it says. It is, and this one says from Cherry Street to Patterson Avenue, but what street is it? So if you're trying to figure out the street, just blow it up a little bit and you can zoom in and find out. So this is University Parkway from Cherry Street to Patterson Avenue. And what is it saying they want to do? They want to add additional northbound lane with curb and gutter and sidewalks. So as I said, most all the highway projects that are in here have curb, have sidewalk and or bicycle lanes included with that, which again is very exciting. So if we would want to make a comment on that, then we would, first what I did, because they want in the comments the spot ID number, which you can find the spot ID number right there on it, but I'm a little lazy. So what I do is I copy the spot ID and then I go back to this map with the keys, go down here and click on the public comment. And then Oh, first you have to have the project highlighted. Well, all right, Hunter, what am I doing wrong? I practiced this before the call. So I want to make a comment.
Okay. So to make a comment, you will go to the editing pane in the bottom left-hand corner, it's, it's the left,
Oh,
it's
it's
the
that
bottom
one.
left. Yes, yep.
Yes, it's that one. That's why
And
this is a little tricky.
So you'll go ahead and hit edit. Where it says
Yep.
new feature, you will click the new feature button. And then
Yep.
you will place it wherever you want to make the comment. It's geographically close to the project of reference would be my preference. But if you put it somewhere else, don't worry about it. We have other ways of tracking it, like the project spot ID that you referenced, Carol.
Yeah. So I copied it and then I just pasted in, and then I have the opportunity to make my comment. And then when you're done, don't forget to hit create at the bottom. So what I might say is, thank you for the curb and sidewalks. I mean, it doesn't have to be much, just add a little something. Or excellent idea, or I love that it attaches to the Muddy Creek Greenway, or whatever you want to comment on. And if you're a little, if you're having trouble thinking about a comment, click on one of the comments that have already been made. It says safe access for residents to parks, schools is needed. Thank you for allowing for 6-foot sidewalks. So you can look at what somebody else has made for a comment and then go from there. Again, if you have time between now and the 5th, if you haven't done it already and you have time between now and the 15th, please take some time to share comments on this map if you would. And Hunter, would you like to say anything else?
I'll say one more thing. Thank you for promoting the interactive map. The intent here is for the tool to really be a way to casually drop by and give very shorthand, feedback on projects, because we recognize that taking the time to read through a whole plan and leaving paragraphs worth of comments is a lot of time and energy. This is really designed to be convenient and a way to just simply express support or opposition to projects, or just really simple comments on what you would do differently with the project. So hopefully you can take advantage of this. This will continue to be available for prioritization cycles into the future. And then my last comment is that this is just step one in the prioritization process. You've probably heard me mention this before. This is a 2-year-long slog to potentially get a few projects funded at the end of the day. But we have to go through this process. And step one is to put out our list of 17 projects per mode. That's what we're asking you to comment on here today. And then after that, we wait several months for the state to go through quantitative scoring for the projects. They kick it back to us, and then we have a limited set of things, of local input points that our MPO is eligible to put towards projects. That'll be the second point of public comment where we reach out to you, and you should expect that in summer of 2026. And we're planning on having an interactive activity where we give you, let's say our threshold is 1,400 points. We ask you where you would put those 1,400 points if given the choice. It'll probably be in a map format like this, but just know that the second phase of engagement will be on local input points, and a project almost always needs local input points from the MPO and from the local highway division if it's going to get a high enough score to potentially be funded, given how hard funding constraints can be sometimes. So stay in the fight with us, if you will, and be ready to comment again when it comes time for local input points in this summer. Thanks.
Wow, that sounds pretty exciting. You're going to give us the points to distribute.
just as a fun activity. The ultimate say, though, is of course by the Transportation Advisory Committee, which is made up of your local elected officials throughout the MPO, and staff will ultimately make a recommendation that we put out to the public. But I think it would be interesting to see that how people would put their local input points, just given their overall preferences.
Yeah. Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Carol, Hunter, I was just going to ask, if there's already a comment on a certain thing, do you want people to comment if they have the same feeling? Is it worth putting another entry that says, I agree, I also want a bus shelter here, or this is a terrible idea, we want it to be that? Like, if there's already something there, is it worth duplicating that to show some amount of like multiple people feel the same way, or what?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I
Okay.
think the higher volume of comment we have on projects, the better.
Okay.
Good question, Amy. And Amy, thank you. It was Amy's idea to actually go through that little exercise with you. All right, stop sharing. Come back in. All right, moving on down the agenda. Next, we have update on Creative Corridor Coalition's Walk and Roll Fest this Saturday.
Yes, lots of work over the past several months. Big team doing fun things. So this Saturday, gonna have lots of great activities for folks. I hope all of you will come out at some point. I know a couple of you are volunteering. If anybody else wants to volunteer, well, let me give you a link, because we do need some more volunteers to help. But yeah, we've got a 5K fun run, we've got kids run, we've got a bike ride, we've got a slow stroll walking thing that Carol's gonna lead, food trucks, DJ, lots of community tents. So as people are kind of perusing the trail, they can also learn about local nonprofits and stuff. So I think it's gonna be a really fun event. We've had a couple little bits of news coverage, and you know, anything y'all can do to get the word out in your circles is appreciated, but very excited to get people out. And Ben will be there as well. Ben, I don't see you anymore, but I think you're going to be kind of talking about the westward expansion of the multi-use path. Is that right?
That's right, Amy. Yep.
So, and hopefully taking feedback. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear from folks some pros and cons of using the path as it is right now. I know I've heard a lot of feedback, positive and room for opportunity and improvement as well. So you'll probably hear some of that, and hopefully that's useful to you guys. But yeah, fun event. So please come out if you can.
Amy, where's the location?
It's kind of based out of Truist Stadium, where the Dash plays.
Right, that
Off
parking
Broad
lot
Street by the
there?
Green Street Bridge, essentially the Green Street Bridge.
Yeah, okay, all right,
So
thanks.
you can park there, or you can start anywhere on the path and just walk up and down it. The only section we don't have a real big presence is kind of westward from the ballpark to the end at 4th Street, just because there's just not much going on over there. The runs and the bike rides will use that section so people know it exists, but we're not going to have people stationed out there like we would elsewhere. So I
Okay,
put the
cool.
link in the chat to the Creative Corridors Coalition kind of landing page with information about location and times and stuff, and then the sign up genius in case you want to volunteer.
And there are opportunities still to volunteer if you'd like to. All right. Thank you, Amy.
Oh, and just shout out to the folks on this call who have been involved in that planning, because we have met a lot over the past several months and done site visits and done a lot of calling and scheming, and it's been a big work effort, but so many great ideas, and appreciate everybody's contribution to making it happen. So.
Any questions for Amy? All right. Well, again, thank you, Amy, for your efforts on leading that. All right, now for the work group updates. I can go first with the policy plan and project. We have not met. I was hoping to have the Greenway Infrastructure Design Standard revisions to you for this meeting, but a lot's been going on and we did not get that done. So hopefully in October, we will be reviewing those and getting them approved and moving them on. Other than that, I have no further updates. Education Committee?
We have not met yet. We've tried to meet at the beginning of the month. We just had a conflict in scheduling and some other stuff pop up. So we are scheduled to meet next Wednesday, I believe, in the evening. And we're just going to talk about kind of calendar of events. And also, too, we mentioned that Day of Remembrance. I know Ned had some good ideas. We'd like to connect with him on maybe trying to do something solid for that. And there's the other upcoming October, pedestrian month or walking month. So we certainly want to try to get some activities going for that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, just let me know when the meeting is next week. Maybe I can pop in.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
send you a
we can do
message.
that. Okay.
All right. Advocacy.
I can share, Ned met with some council members recently. Donna, as she mentioned at the top of the call, met with some folks. I have 2 meetings set up for next Wednesday. So we're starting to make contact with those council members. I think we probably will meet sometime at the end of this month to kind of debrief together and maybe bring some additional feedback. But I welcome Donna. If you want to share anything from your meetings you've held, please let us know now. We don't have to wait.
Okay. There's a lot of really exciting things going on in our city, and talking to both Councilwoman Regina Hall and Mayor Pro Temp Dee Dee Adams. They did see, we did have an opportunity to talk about what the biking committee is. Just to start off, we had a questionnaire, and the first one was, what do you know about it? That varied to just know about it and then having some information. But after sharing kind of what we did as an advisory group, they both felt like our group is extremely important and necessary, which is really good to hear. And as they began to talk, it was kind of a free-flowing conversation, and they were separate conversations. I'll start with Councilwoman Regina Hall. One of the things that became important for her is the grounds and the development of that. And because she actually works with Boston Thurman neighborhood. So the grounds is really an important project for that neighborhood and that community. So some of the things that came out of that conversation were, one, have there been traffic studies that look at the current traffic patterns right now and the impacts of the grounds coming, what those traffic patterns will mean for those communities in terms of being able to move around safely. So that was one of the things she got really excited that as a committee, we have a really great opportunity to probably provide some input and advice around that project in terms of safety for that community, and also understanding kind of the impacts of walking, biking in that entire area as that expands. So that was a really, really good conversation. She was excited to know about our committee. It's interesting because I think that particular project is in Mayor Pro Temp's, but her biggest thought was around the amphitheater that is being built downtown. So her thoughts were around really, again, our committee having an opportunity to provide valuable input around the impacts of having that and how to make sure walking, biking is incorporated, but also the safety element in terms of traffic patterns, crosswalks and all as that development. And talking to her a little further, she saw tremendous opportunity for our committee to really partner more with the planning committee. And the reason for that is when things come in front of the city council, they're just voting, it's already done. But to really have an opportunity to be involved in what's happening in the city before decisions are made, before it comes to a vote, it may be a wonderful opportunity to really understand what's happening on the planning committee to be more proactive. And so they were two wonderful conversations. They were highly engaged. Any support that this or our organization, our committee needs, they were more than welcome to do. And so I thought it was very productive. And any follow-up, they are very open to continuing the conversation. And one of the things I do think would be important again for both to see from us is that we are proactively addressing the future of our city.
Those are great updates, Donna. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
That's a lot to think about.
It's pretty exciting when you think about it. I mean, the amphitheater and, city council, they vote on things, but they're not necessarily, they can help influence things, but, they don't, there's a whole process that occurs.
Yeah.
So they are definitely key stakeholders that can support, but definitely planning and some other areas are areas to influence that would bring our work closer to the initial stages of things being done in the city.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit. As the advocacy committee is gathering all this information, because Ned brought back some good things last month and shared as well, will the advocacy committee think through these comments and make recommendations back to the committee on how we can engage in trying to work through some of these things, or to get better connected with planning? What's our next steps with these findings?
Yeah, I would think if we meet together as a working group to kind of debrief the meetings that have been had or are being had, and kind of collate kind of the responses, and if there's any kind of takeaways, either key themes or action items, I think we could definitely put that together into a quick Word doc or something and present that back to the group. If not recommendations, at least a report out that the whole group can weigh in on, but I'll leave it to Ned and Donna and others if we want to make any formal recommendations after we've talked.
Okay, thank you. These meetings are great. I'm glad you guys are moving forward with these meetings with the council members. So thank you. All right. After our planning meeting, I added this just because I was excited when I came back from the Bike Walk Summit, and thought I would share a little bit of information. I'm doing this for two reasons: just to give you some thoughts of what I learned, but also to maybe put out there to each of you to consider attending in the future. This is one of the cheapest summits that you can attend, other than transportation to get there and maybe to spend the night, because their entry fee is a pay as you think they should be paid, which I have always found interesting. And it can be as low as the dues to Bike Walk North Carolina. I would recommend that if you can, to contribute more than that when you attend the agenda, because they have some excellent keynote speakers that come to these events, which I will share with you. Let me go ahead and open up the document I pulled together real quick. I'll try not to go over all of this with you. that's it. Oh, no, that's the window. I'm sorry. Let me come out of that. I'm out. Try this one more time. I think that's it. Yes. All right. Very good. So it was in Hickory, which was very drivable from here. The first keynote session was with the executive director of the East Coast Greenway. And the topic or the title of his presentation was Meeting the Moment and How Can We Make North Carolina the Great Trails, in parentheses, and Biking and Walking State. Even though I think trails includes biking and walking as well. But he has been in this position, I can't remember how many years, but he talked about the fact that the East Coast Greenway was founded in 1991. Their offices are actually in Durham, North Carolina. So it's easier for him and the board probably to focus on the area around the Triangle area since their headquarters are there. But the most fascinating thing that I think he said was, so far to date, since 1991, they have raised $20 million in private donations for the East Coast Greenway. That $20 million has supported, because typically it's used for matching grants, federal matching grants. That $20 million has supported an additional $2 billion in public infrastructure. And they have built out over 1,000 miles of trails to date, which I think is fabulous. The other key thing that they said, that it has achieved 50 million rides. And I think that is to date, those 50 million. But if they have counted 50 million, it probably far exceeds that. So that was a very interesting session to kick off the Bike Walk Summit, because you could hear the enthusiasm and the excitement that trails can bring to a community through his inspiration that he shared with us. The rest of the day was breakout groups. The first two breakout groups, and it's difficult because you want to go to all of these breakout groups, but you've got to select one of them. The nice thing about that Bike Walk North Carolina is they record all of these, and they'll be posting them in upcoming days and weeks, so that if you missed one, you can attend one, or even if you didn't go to the summit itself, you can go on and watch online the sessions. So you can see that one of them was called Inspiring Spaces. I wish I could have gone to that. I did choose the industry's role in safer active transportation. And it was interesting. They had 3 businesses, so industries, that led that session. It was a panel. They asked them some questions. They shared their information. They were all local to Hickory. One was Shane Cooper, the president of Defeat. Many of you probably know Defeat. They're a sock maker. And I learned that if we ever have something that we want to create socks for in the future, you can reach out to them, and they actually work with you to put your own designs on it. Michael Hosey has probably done that sometime in the past, and if he has not, he may want to consider that for the National Cycling Center. And it's based right there in Hickory, and it is a global company. They also had someone from Feet Fleet. I could not find her name, but she is like the Keith Davis and Emily Davis of our Feet Fleet, but they're in Hickory. Then they also had someone that owns Carolina Pedal Works, They talked a little bit about the city walk trail that Hickory has developed over the past 14 years. And two of these businesses actually have moved their business to be located next to the trail so that trail users can see their business, which I thought was fabulous. The other thing that I picked up that I thought I would share with all of you, and I never really thought about this before, but public service announcements can be utilized to get the word out on things that we're doing. They said and you can make a public service announcement fairly inexpensively if you work with a local university and their video unit within the university to create the PSA. And then you can work with your cable company, because cable companies always have charity funds, and it's usually to take the PSA and run it on their network. So that was my little tidbit of learning there. If we ever want to take some of our safety campaigns to a higher level or get them out further than maybe just the city, we could maybe utilize something like that. The next two sessions were, one was called Administering Local Bicycle Projects from Idea to Construction, and the other one was called Enforcement Strategies to Protect Vulnerable Road Users. I always have a terrible time with that word. It was led by Chris Casey. He is a North Carolina State Highway Patrol, and he is in education. His presentation was rather interesting, probably not well accepted by the bike ped community, just because of the way that he presented it. And his presentation focused very much on what bicycles and pedestrians are permitted to do or not do. And none of it was based on what drivers or vehicles are permitted or not permitted to do. So it was rather an interesting session to attend and to listen to the dynamics there. The fun fact that I took away from there is that bicycles are considered a vehicle, and many of you probably already know this, but bicycles are considered to be a vehicle and are permitted on the road. And based on that, if a car hits another vehicle, then they could be negligent for hitting that. The problem is that many times when the bicyclist is hit, it's a fatal accident or a very serious injury. So they leave the scene, and the highway patrolman or the police don't have the opportunity to really investigate it from their side or their point of view. And that probably is the cause for bicyclists not benefiting from, what do I want to say, being able to recover damages, because they're not there to tell their story. But I thought it was interesting that bicycles are vehicles, and if we ever witness a crash, then we probably should stay there and speak up and out for the bicyclists. Pedestrians, on the other hand, are not vehicles, and they are not permitted to be on the road. At least that is what the highway patrolman said. And that got quite a bit of pushback from the audience. There was a discussion later at the seminar about contributory negligence. This also is a fun fact. And this might be something for us to push on the legislative agenda this next year, maybe take to our House of Representatives or our senator to possibly follow through on. But contributory negligence is what the North Carolina law abides by, and that denies a plaintiff from recovering any damages if they are even partly at fault. So if we are in the road walking, not in a crosswalk, and a car hits us, we are at fault because we're not a vehicle and we're not supposed to be in the road. Compared to comparative negligence, which apportions fault and reduces damages in negligence-based claims. So very interesting. Again, that might be something that we can consider to take forward in a legislative agenda to our representatives. Amy was shaking her head yes, so I think she was aware of those things. The next keynote session was Headwinds and Tailwinds in the National Cycling Policy. It was led by Ken McLeod with the League of American Bicyclists. As I said, they have some truly prestigious individuals come to speak at the event. I did not capture notes from him. I need to go back and look at those. It might be some other topics that we can take to our legislatures to have added to the legislative agenda as well. Then the next breakout group was Helene Recovery and Resilient Infrastructure and Strengthening Local Advocacy Groups. I'm not going to go through all my notes on this, but if any of you would like the notes that I took on the Pisgah area SORBA, it was very detailed and they had a lot of great ideas. One thing I do not have under Trail Builders, which is kind of like their special members, they went with a very low amount of only $250. Lots of times those designations are given to people that have given $1,000 or more dollars. They believe that it's important to bring that dollar amount down, have more people at that special level. And they really believe that it helps in the long term build the donations that are coming into the group by starting at a lower level. But anyway, I did capture a lot of notes there. You can tell that it was something that I was very interested in and engaged with. So if any of you are interested in me sending that out to you, I am happy to share those notes. And if that does go out on their website, I highly recommend you listening to that session yourself as well. The Monday session ended with some success stories from around the state. I did not list all of the success stories. I think there were 5 of them, but I did want to highlight that Bike Durham was one of the ones that shared, and they helped the city of Durham pass a $115 million bond for sidewalks and road improvements. Most of the dollars are going to the road improvements, but they did get a lot of new sidewalk added, or will be able to get a lot of new sidewalk added within the city. So that was very impressive. The other one is a cycling club that is down in Charlotte. It's called the Major Taylor Cycling Club of North Carolina. They have been in existence for quite a few years now. And they, this year, this next year, in June of this next year, the Major Taylor Cycling International Organization will be holding their annual meeting in Durham. So big success for the local organization in North Carolina to be able to bring that to North Carolina. It will be held in Durham and it's in June. And it was interesting just to hear about the club itself. So if you want to know any more about it, I suggest you go online and look that up. Tuesday started out with more breakout groups. So we had the Friendly Driver Program in one of the breakout groups, and the other one was Understanding DOT Prioritization Project Development. It was led by, misspelled his name, Brennan Fuqua with the North Carolina Department of Integrated Mobility Division. It was a really good presentation. But Hunter, I think you can do just as well as he did. But I did learn a little bit of additional information attending that. Then the next two breakout groups were guidelines in practice, ASHTO, NACTO, and MUTCD. I know that you can say it, but I'm not exactly sure how to say that. That was led again by Ken McLeod of the League of American Bicyclists. I did not attend that session, but I did attend the ADA compliance and inclusive infrastructure, which was interesting. Stephen Hardy, Roz, if you all have never heard of him before, he is very well known in North Carolina. He was hit by a car. He was an avid bicyclist. He was hit by a car several years ago, and he is a paraplegic now. And he is a big ADA proponent. He lives in Greenville, North Carolina. He has even been arrested for by the city of Greenville for being in the streets of Greenville to protest the fact that there are not adequate ADA available streets and sidewalks for him to utilize. So he has been involved in Bike Walk North Carolina. If you've ever been to one of the meetings, he is always in attendance, and he really stands up for ADA in the state of North Carolina, disability rights. The day ended with two workshops. One was traffic bicycling for transportation professionals and law enforcement. That actually was an all-day event, separate from the breakout groups that we had, that others of us attended. And then we ended the day with a community mobility audits. There was a walk audit, which I participated in, and a bicycle audit. And then after everything was done, I took a walk on their new city walk. So I enjoyed that as well. But great event. I highly recommend it. If you can go next year, please do. They've already found the location. It's going to be at Carolina Beach. It will probably be in September, but they do not have a date identified as of yet. So they're still working on that. All right, I hope I didn't lose anybody, and I hope you enjoyed me doing a recap of that meeting. A lot to learn, people to meet, a good thing to participate in. Okay, upcoming events. So September 13th, we've already talked about it. If you're available, please come, please participate and or volunteer. But September 13th, does it start at 8:30 or 9, Amy?
I'm sorry, I was multitasking. What's the
Yep,
question?
that's okay. Does the event start at 8:30 or 9 on Saturday?
8:30.
8:30. All right.
Yep.
So come join in the fun. September 29th, a week without driving. So it's September 29th through October 5th. Try to make the pledge if you can. Maybe sometime in the future we can do it as a group activity and promote it within the city of Winston-Salem, and maybe even try to boost transit ridership for the week. Maybe we can even get some city council members to participate. October, National Pedestrian Safety Month. Also International Walk to School Month. October 18th, the Great Trails State Day, and November 16th, World Day of Remembrance. So that's what's coming up. All right. That's it for the agenda. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about, review, cover? All right. Hearing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn? I guess we
Great
usually.
drop, so I can motion that.
Okay. Did Donna
I'll
second?
second.
All
Yes.
right. And I'll say we are adjourned. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, great meeting.